Yes, folks, that's my book, HMP Manchester Prison Officer. It's on Amazon, folks. You got to read it. Anyway, I'm going to talk today about greedy staff. You know, prison officers that eat the inmates' food. Believe it or not. Yes, they did. I was working at Strangeways in the 70s, and I was on the hot plates, at lunchtime when they were supervising the serving of lunch, serving of dinner, and one of the staff, must have been about 55. He was on the edge of retirement, he was quite old. He looked a lot older than he actually was. And they were serving that day lamb chops. Now, you know what a lamb chop's like? Yeah, it's got a nice piece of succulent meat in it, yeah. This officer, believe it or not, he stood next to the hot plate serving out the lamb chop, put his hand in, took out lamb chop, poked the meat out from the middle into his mouth, threw the lamb chop back in, just the bone, next. And he must have done about 15 of these. There was gravy and dribbly stuff all down his uniform and it all over his face. And he'd had about 15 of these. And the inmates coming up getting the lunch, and all they got was about. I know I'm laughing. It's not funny, yeah. And I mentioned this to the senior officer. I said, "You're going to have to do something about this." Oh, do you know what he said? He said to me, "Mr. Sutton, leave him alone. He's going senile." Really? Going senile, eating everybody's food? Yeah, one day I was down on A1 landing where we had it was being used as an overspill for the hospital. A1 landing. We had probably about 20 inmates in the cells there, hospital inmates, people who were there for psychiatric reports or people who were unstable diabetics, which was quite a common thing in prison. Anyway, they used to bring the meals down and leave them right at the end of A1. One day they brought the breakfast down around about 7 o'clock-ish, 7:10, something like that. And I was working in the clinic. There was two of us working in the A1 landing clinic, where everybody comes down for the medication, to get the Largactil and whatever else they're having, So they brought the meals down, and they brought a tray, and it had about 20 sausages on it. Long, thin sausages. Anybody who's been in prison recognises what they are, what they look like, Not big, fat Cumberland sausages, quite long, thin sausages. And the officer I was working with, he says to me, he says, "Just you the clinic for a minute, I won't be a minute." And he went outside, and he ate all the sausages. All the lot. Every single sausage. 20 sausages in his gob, one after the other. Boom. He was a big fella, about 17 stone, about 6'2", something like that. But how could he manage 20 sausages? I mean, I can manage one myself, but I wouldn't steal any of the inmates' food. So when it came time for their breakfast, they didn't get no sausages, yeah? They might have got a boiled egg or something like that, but they didn't get no sausages. It's a strange world, isn't it? Greedy staff. And of course, the canteen where they used to serve the meals, they were prepared by inmates. They had inmates who were housed on B1 landing. That's where they kept the inmates who worked in the staff canteen, or the staff. It wasn't Takadoma. That Takadoma was where they served coffee, but it was like an officer's mess, where they went in and got the dinner and the breakfast and they served evening meals as well, It was for staff who were actually single, very often were single, and they lived in apartments near the prison. So don't have prison quarters now, I believe. Quite how they afford to live in London. I mean, when I worked at Wormwood Scrubs, I tried to get a prison officer's quarter when I started. Read it said in my book about all this. So I thought, well, if I can't get a prison officer's quarter, because they said there wasn't any available, so I went to a local estate agent and said, I would like to rent, say, a one-bedroom flat, so I could get my wife up, because we were living in Manchester, my wife. And I was working at Wormwood Scrubs. There's no way to go on, is it? You can't do that. My wife's 200 mile away. So I went to see the estate agent and said I'd like to get myself an apartment, just a one-bedroom flat. Well, tide me over while I get a quarter. He said, where are you working? I said, I'm working at the Scrubs. He said, well, I'll tell you something. He said, all your wages won't pay for a one-bedroom flat round here. All my wages, the entire amount of money that I was earning at Wormwood Scrubs was not sufficient to rent a one-bedroom apartment in East Acton or Ealing or anywhere around there. There was just, you couldn't do it. It was more than I was earning. That's the full lot. Hey, now, how on earth today are our staff going to fund their living accommodation? Because they don't have prison quarters now. I have heard that some staff are coming in and working like 14-hour, 15-hour shifts and doing all the shifts in like 2 or 3 days and then going back on train, you know. I don't know where they're sleeping, probably sleeping rough. Imagine that. That's what this place has come to, yeah? But I saw staff many times nicking inmates' food. I never tried it myself. Somebody once threw some porridge at me. I got it all over my tunic, but that's to be expected. Somebody's going to be a bad-tempered now and again. You know, I didn't do anything drastic about that. Just thought, oh well, get that cleaned, and that's what you basically do. But what happened at the officers' mess on Fridays? They always had fish, you know. And I collected the inmates one evening because I was officer in charge of B-Wing, so I had to go and collect the inmates from the officers' mess. They were doing all the cooking and the cleaning and what have you. And I brought them out. They're all laughing, you know, chuckling. I said, come on, I said, who's going to tell me what you're laughing at? You know, no, we can't tell you, boss. You know, I said, of course you can tell me. It'd be all right, you know. I said, I'm not going to tell anybody, am I? They said, oh, we'll tell you, but don't tell anybody. I said, well, come on then, what is it? Get it out. He said, we've been pissing on the fish. Well, they got fish on Friday, you see. So the inmates who were used to preparing the meals for the staff, on Friday they used to piss all over the fish. The governor was in there getting his fish, yeah. They always got a nice piece of fish for him and marinated it in urine. Eh? I couldn't tell him, could I? I couldn't go on and say, no, Mr. Brown, be careful about the fish. People have been pissing on it for a long time. You couldn't do that. No, you couldn't. Anyway, I'm going to read you a poem now. We've had that little thing there. And don't forget to get my book, folks. There it is. John G. Sutton. Yeah. And this is Tales from the Jails, by the way. But I'm going to read you a poem now, so I better sound the dinger in case somebody needs to escape. Ding dong ding. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to read you a poem now. This is a poem by Lewis Carroll. Yeah? Lewis Carroll, as you know, wrote Alice in Wonderland and all that. But this is a nice little poem. It's called Jabberwocky. Are you sitting comfortably? 'Cause you won't be when I've finished this. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the moan wraths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he fought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And in his uffish thought he stood. The Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whistling through the Tugly wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, fabulous day, Callooh he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the moan raths outgrave. That was Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. I know you all want a song, don't you? Guess what you're missing? I was going to do Old Man River. Does anybody want to hear Old Man River? That's too late now. I'm going to do it. Old Man River, he don't do nothing. Anyway, that's it. That's your lot. See you now.